Picture this. It's a Saturday night, and a major European airport just stops. Everything comes to a complete standstill. The cause? Not a storm, not a system failure, but something way, way stranger, just floating in the sky. Let's get into this wild story. So, what could possibly be so serious that it shuts down an entire international airport for more than 6 hours? I mean, we're talking thousands of people stranded. Let's peel back the layers here. Your first guess is probably a technical glitch, right? Something like the radar going down or a massive power outage. But nope, all the high-tech gear, everything was working just fine. Okay, well, what about a security threat then? Maybe a drone or something even more serious? That's a really good guess, but authorities ruled that out pretty quickly too. The real answer is so much more low-tech, and honestly, it's pretty surprising. So this all went down at Vilnius International Airport in Lithuania. What should have been just a normal evening turned into a total crisis that paralyzed the entire operation. And you can just feel the chaos growing when you look at the timeline. It starts at 10:16 p.m. They hope to reopen around 2:45 a.m., but that time came and went. Then the closure gets extended again, all the way to 4:30 a.m. It wasn't until almost 5 in the morning that planes could finally take off or land. That's over 6 solid hours of nothing. So what was happening, officially, was a series of airspace violations. That's the technical term for when any object, a plane, a drone, you name it, flies into a country's airspace without permission. And in this case, well, there were a lot of them. All right, time for the big reveal. The things that caused all this high-tech chaos weren't sophisticated military drones. They were balloons. Seriously, the kind of thing you might see at a party, but they were being used for something very different. Get this, 25. That's how many weather balloons floated across the border from Belarus into Lithuania in just one night. And 2 of them were spotted right over Vilnius Airport. That's what triggered the complete shutdown. So why on earth would you send a whole fleet of balloons over the border? Well, it comes down to one thing: smuggling. These guys are attaching huge packages of illegal cigarettes to weather balloons, waiting for the wind to blow in the right direction and just letting them go. And the scale here is insane. On that night, just 7 of the balloons they found were carrying 12,000 packs of cigarettes. Now, this might sound kind of primitive, but there is a real strategy behind it. According to the State Border Guard Service, this wasn't some accident. The smugglers are getting smarter. They launch the balloons from way back inside Belarus. That lets them get up really high where they're hard to spot and then drift much deeper into Lithuania before they finally come down. The whole tactic is actually pretty clever. First, they launch from deep inside Belarus so they don't get spotted by border patrols. Then, the balloons go way up high to cross the border basically invisible. They use the wind like a free, silent delivery service, and the packages are designed to land far inside the country for their partners to pick up. It's a surprisingly effective system. But you know, while the logistics are interesting, the real-world impact was immediate, and it was a mess. This wasn't just some abstract security problem. This was a total nightmare for thousands of regular people. We're talking about around 6,000 passengers whose lives were just thrown into chaos. 30 flights were disrupted, 6 were flat out canceled, and a bunch more had to divert to other cities, and in some cases other countries, like Latvia and Poland. So to really understand what this felt like for people, let's just follow one flight. A Ryanair plane from Dublin was supposed to land in Vilnius. Instead, it gets rerouted to Riga, which is the capital of Latvia, a completely different country. After sitting on the tarmac for an hour, the passengers get told that buses will take them to Vilnius. But then comes another announcement. And it's basically, sorry, we can't find any buses, you're on your own, good luck, and just send us the bill. Can you even imagine how frustrating that would be? So now passengers are left with these impossible choices. The buses they were promised, yeah, those never showed up. If they wanted to organize their own ride, a taxi was going to cost hundreds of euros. The only other option was to just be stranded overnight in a foreign airport. Just a horrible end to a trip. And here's the thing. As crazy as this one night was, it wasn't a one-off. Not even close. This whole balloon incident is actually part of a much bigger and rapidly growing trend. So far this year, authorities have detected 501 of these smuggler balloons. And remember, that number includes the 25 from this one weekend. It's just a fraction of the total. The sky over Lithuania is getting really crowded. And if you want to see just how quickly this is getting out of hand, just look at this comparison. For all of last year, the grand total was 226 balloons. We're not even through this year, and that number has already skyrocketed to 501. The trend is obvious, and it's dramatic. Let me just put that in perspective. That is more than double, a 2.2 times increase in a single year. This tactic isn't just sticking around, it's exploding. And it's not just balloons either. The airport has this recurring problem with things flying where they shouldn't be. In August, a drone temporarily suspended flights. In September, it happened again with 3 more drone flights. And now we've got this massive balloon situation leading to a shutdown that lasted over 6 hours. The threats are just getting more and more frequent. And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating question. We spend billions on super sophisticated radar, high-tech surveillance, all this security. But if all of that can be completely shut down by a couple dozen weather balloons and some good wind, what does that say about the future of security? It kind of shows how simple, low-tech ideas can find the cracks in our most advanced systems. And that is a really tricky problem to solve.